Hi, Kinder friends. Ms Schmidt here. For Science Today, I wanted to read a book about an animal that lives in the Arctic, probably the most famous animal that lives in the Arctic, which is the polar bear. So this book is called Ice Bear in the Steppes of the Polar Bear. And they're probably one of the most interesting bears, and there's a lot to learn about them. So here we go. Ice Bear. Ice bear in the steppes of the polar bear. Our people, the Inuit, call it Nanook. So way up in Canada and Alaska, there's a group of people called the Inuit. And they live with the polar bears. They have learned to kind of live among polar bears. Our people, the Inuit, call it Nanook. White bear, ice bear, sea bear, others say. It's a bear, all right, but not like any other. It's a polar bear made for our frozen world. And then it says, polar bears have longer necks and legs than their closest relatives, brown or grizzly bears. There's a lot of good information about polar bears in this book. No frost can steal polar bear's heat. It has a double coat, one of fat, 4 fingers deep. So they have that much fat all the way around their whole body. And one of fur, which has an extra trick for beating the cold. Its hairs aren't really white, which is something a lot of people don't know. Polar bears' hairs are not white, but they're hollow, filled with air to stop the warmth escaping. And underneath, the skin is black to soak up the heat. So if you think of a straw, like a clear straw, that is what polar bear's hair is like. But much smaller than a big straw that you would drink out of. But it's clear and hollow in the inside. And so, but when the sunlight hits it, it reflects back white. So polar bears aren't actually white, and their skin underneath is black. Only a polar bear's nose and the pads on the end of its toes are without fur. So that's how we can see the black part. Its ears stick close to its head, neatly out of cutting winds, and its feet are furred for warmth and grip. So polar bear stays warm no matter what. It will sleep away a blizzard in a drift and wash in snow. Tiny ice crystals rub the dirt from the polar bear's fur. Polar bears are careful to keep clean so that they stay camouflaged against the snow and ice. Polar bears stay warm in temperatures -40 and lower. So they always try to keep clean so that they can blend in with the white camouflage. Polar bear is a great hunter. It outweighs 2 lions and makes a tiger look small. A single paw would fill this page and shred the paper with its paws. So here's the page. Look at my hand, barely fits it. They could shred the book. Pretty big. Polar bears are the biggest hunters on land. Male bears can be 10 feet long and weigh as much as 10 men. Wow. It can run as fast as a snowmobile and walk for days on end. It can swim 100 miles without a rest to cross the sea between the ice floes, then shake the water from its fur and walk again. Polar bear's fat keeps them warm in the cold sea. Webbed feet help them to swim, and water-shedding fur helps them dry off quickly afterwards. Webbed feet means between their toes they have little bits of skin so that it kind of makes like a nice kind of paddle for them to swim with. Seals are its prey. It hunts for them far out in the frozen ocean, waiting at a breathing hole or stalking them as they sleep. Polar bears can catch seals only on the sea ice, so hunting is best in winter and early spring. Polar bear is a white shape in a white world, invisible until it's too late. A lightning paw strike, a crushing bite, and the seal is gone. But polar bear is gentle too. Mother polar bear in her winter snow den tends her newborn cubs. She lifts their tiny bodies in her great paws and suckles them. Newborn polar bears are tiny. They weigh just over 1 pound, about the same as a guinea pig. So they start off so small. In spring, she'll take them hunting, and for 2 years she'll protect and feed them until they've learned, like her, to hunt alone. So, most humans live with their families till they're 18 or so, but polar bear babies only live with their mom for 2 years until they're 2. Polar bear moms usually have 2 cubs at a time, but sometimes they have only 1, or very rarely triplets. Alone through summers when the sun tracks up and down the sky and one day passes to another with no great night between. Alone through winters when the sun never rises and the stars of the great bear sparkle in the darkness. There is a constellation in the sky. That's the great polar bear. When the sea ice melts in summer, polar bears can't catch seals. They'll eat almost anything instead. Fish, dead birds, berries, even grass. In the Arctic, it's light all the time in the summer and dark all the time in the winter. So right now it's winter in the Arctic, so they do not get any daylight. It's just dark all the time because the sunlight just doesn't reach up there because the earth is tilted away. Alone until the paths of 2 lone hunters cross. They'll wave their heads in greeting, clasp jaws so tenderly they wouldn't break an egg. Cautiously they'll try each other's strength. Then play. Giants flowing in the whiteness, tumbling, beautiful as snowflakes. Real fighting is very dangerous for polar bears, so males play fight to find out who's the strongest without either bear getting hurt. Until they part and slowly go their separate ways. We Inuit, we watch Nanook as we first watched when the earth seemed new, and polar bears showed us how to love the Arctic, how to hide from blizzards in a house of snow, how to hunt for seals with patience and with speed, how to live in starlight day and sunlit night. Many polar bears in Inuit have passed since then, and still we share our world with gratitude and pride. Some scientists think that when humans came to the Arctic around 40,000 years ago, they learned how to survive by watching polar bears. And there's the end of that book. So I hope you learned a little bit more about polar bears, the ice bear, which is a very, very interesting animal. The next part of science is a video just about Arctic animals in general. So I'll make sure you watch that. All right, good luck. Thanks. Bye.